We're live on Facebook. It appears as though we're live on that Facebook. Oh, yeah. See, look. Facebook, we're live. The New American Media is live now. Russia, okay.
Russia.
We got Super Chat. Looks like we are live on YouTube.
Sweet.
All right. Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Agree to Disagree. This is March 26th, 2019. I'm here with Blake Wally. How you doing, Blake?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well. We're trying out a new Yeti Blue microphone. It's in I don't know. It's doing that, so it's supposed to be. We're testing it out. Tell us if you like the audio quality of that if you're on the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, you'll hear it. On Facebook, it just is what it is. It's recorded from our cameras. Subscribe, youtube.com/The New American Media. Click the notifications bell. Leave some comments over here. If you're watching on either of the Facebook groups, tap the thumbs up and the hearts. So this has been one of the craziest couple of days that I can remember, Blake. I remember in years past we used to do shows, and there would occasionally be what would be called a slow news day. This has been just astonishing. What we want to talk about is the Trump-Mueller report. We want to talk about Jussie Smollett, who had charges dropped on him. Weird story out of Chicago. Michael Avenatti has been arrested with an interesting claim that he was trying to shake down Nike. I don't know. Maybe it's only Sharpton that can get away with that. I don't know. Maybe it's a different decade. Who knows? But he's gone down. And then it looks like $1 billion has been diverted to build parts of the border wall in certain drug corridors. So it's been ridiculously busy, Blake. Let's start with Mueller. The report. We started getting leaks several weeks ago that the hints were made. Nothing's going to come of this. This will be like the nothing burger Van Jones thought it was going to be. How did this shake out the past couple of days? What have we learned?
Well, yeah, it took a while. And yes, as you said, it was a busy news day. We're waiting. And this is probably one of the biggest times I remember since the whole Benghazi debacle before the 2012 election. And then we had the Superstorm Sandy that kind of wiped it out of the news cycle for a while. It was kind of well-timed. But yeah, now here we got the bombshell. We've been waiting for it. I thought it was just going to leak and it wasn't going to be anything. And yeah, it really it wasn't. And they released it on. I thought it was suspicious that they released it on a Friday news dump during like the peak of March Madness.
Yeah.
So that was unusual. But and now there's. One side is saying this is vindication and exoneration, and the other side is saying that they need more information. But those are the people that have been pushing this for over 2 years and have really fell flat. And they're being ridiculed, and maybe deservedly. But they do make a point saying that they need to see the full report before they can be. Before anyone can say anything about exoneration.
And I think in general, that's a smart idea. I would like to add, however, the burden of proof is always on somebody else to prove guilt. And in the absence of being able to prove guilt, you have an innocent person. The legal system functions on the assumption of guilt. You either have it or you don't. And if there are no more indictments coming, if there is no collusion, you're gonna have to peel back some layers of the onion here, Blake. What I want to do is I want to go backward to try to find the origination of this story, to go back to Fusion GPS, to Hillary Clinton and the surveillance approved by then President Barack Obama to unleash the deep state to spy on the campaign who was going up against his former national security advisor.
Yeah, that's Hillary where Clinton. It needs to go. We have to have an answer. They're going to spend 2 years and $30-some million investigating this and pushing this. I mean, this has been dividing our country. Yeah, it's time to get to the bottom of it, no matter what it is. Now, I don't think they're going to find it within the Mueller report. I think the Mueller report was specifically, it was done, the collusion, the obstruction. They didn't find any. It was all just hearsay, rumors, and they weren't able. And so they don't want to release all of the other stuff because it's not relevant to the case. Now, ideally, I'd like to just see everything out, so then there's no ammunition for anybody to say that there's a cover-up. But there wasn't anything for all this time saying, well, what are you going to find? And so I think what you're going to find in the Mueller report, they went on a big fishing expedition to find something. They had to find some way that Russia was connected to Trump, and that caused the changing of the results. They thought it was Hillary was going to win easily, and when that didn't happen, they went crazy, and this was the result. And if you dig for it long enough, you're going to find something. So they were able to get Manafort. It had nothing to do with collusion with the Russians to overthrow the election, but there was some criminal activity. Now, there's probably some shady activity. If we're going to scour through the Mueller report, if they had to release it, you're probably going to find some of these guys were involved dealing with the Russians and, maybe real estate deals or something shady, or Donald Trump paid off porn stars. I mean, it's going to be more personal, more embarrassing things, but nothing to actually suggest that there was collusion with the Russians to overthrow the 2016 election, or that he's in the pocket of Putin and the whole country is basically under the thumb of Russia. So, so we got a summary. I know obviously they want more. I'm sure they can still release some more. But then there's a good point put out by Rand Paul today. If we're going to release all the full content, then we got to dig inside to the other side, as you're saying as well, Brian, and is looking at the Clinton campaign, who paid for the dossier that was used as the basis for the FISA warrant that was put through by Comey on the top of the FBI. So they were basically working to make sure that Trump would not get elected, and if they did, this was their plan B. But that's now they dug and dug trying to find something, stick to them. They didn't, and now they don't know what to do. And so we have to find the real reason why we've done this investigation, why this took so much time and energy and money out of America. We deserve to know the full scope of the truth. So you want to see the full Mueller report. Let's see let's start subpoenaing I don't know how you say this.
Subpoena?
They're setting the subpoenas for the Hillarys, for the John Podestas, for the Loretta Lynches, for the James Comeys, Strozek, the Page, the McCabe's. There's a lot of people that I think deserve to answer some questions if we're going to get to the bottom of this. Obviously, we've done a full report on everything that any of the Trump people had to do with it. Found nothing. So now it's the other side's turn.
Yeah. Truth Freeze over here on YouTube is saying it's all distractions. 2 years, over 2 years of this nonsense, trying to rip this country apart and foment a possible civil war to overthrow a duly elected president. This tweet, we sent it out. We're on Twitter at American_media_. Follow us. Blake's at Eccentric99. This Rodney Warren says, release Hillary's report and the Benghazi report, then you can have the Mueller report.
Right.
That's kind of interesting. What do you make of Hillary's investigation that just went away, kind of like Jussie Smollett? I know we're teasing our next story here, but Hillary was in the hot seat and they made that completely go away.
Yep, smashed servers and 33,000 deleted emails, and there was several problems with that.
And that was allowed.
Laptop. Yeah.
And that was allowed. What'd she say? Wiped it? You mean like with a cloth? Yeah. No. And that's Hillary. I really want this to lead back. Think about this. Richard Nixon was taken out for wiretapping one of the RN or one of the DNC rooms a little bit. This was Hillary and Obama, the FBI, all of the deep state, John Brennan, all of these people to take down the president in advance and then to destroy him after the fact. How in the world is that not treasonous? How in the world? Am I misunderstanding the meaning of the word to try to completely overthrow our democratic republic? Isn't that what the Obama-Clinton plan was? And if we're not going to allow ourselves to get mad about this, when is it time to get mad about something?
Right. No, well, I mean, they've had the opportunity now, so they've been pushing this investigation. They all agreed Mueller was the great guy for the job. They had his staff was completely stacked with Clinton sympathizers. They had all the time in the world, 2 years, all the money, and they put all this energy into it. They had the power of the giant liberal media and all their lapdogs and useful idiots. And they've been pushing this, screeching about it, and nothing.
A big nothing burger, as Van Jones said years ago. I think it was years ago. Was it
Van Jones?
Plural years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Van Jones said, he was caught undercover saying that this is all a big nothing burger.
Oh, yes, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And
no, they all knew all along. That's what we really want to find those answers, too. Because who in the media knew what was really going on and deliberately pushed this agenda? These people get paid millions of dollars to, do what they're told. And so how many of them knowingly were involved and how many of them were just useful idiots that just repeated the talking points?
Truth Freeze is saying over here in the chat room. By the way, if you're watching over here, hello, everybody on Facebook. You can definitely watch on YouTube, youtube.com/The New American Media going live. Truth Freeze is saying it's time to investigate the investigators. That reminds me of a Simpsons joke when I think Homer's in the vigilante group trying to track down and catch the cat burglar. And Lisa looks at her dad and says, or looks at Homer and says, "Dad, if you're the police, who will police the police?" He looks at her, "Oh, Coast Guard." But yeah, it's time to investigate the investigators. Who will police the police? What do you make of the deep state, Blake? I mean, it seems like short of assassination, the deep state, the people who are behind the scenes in positions of power, were trying to stage a political coup to overthrow a duly elected United States president. What's your take on the deep state? Like, how bad is this? How serious is this? How much of a smoking gun did we just get to notice and recognize and clarify and cement that this was a complete cover-up, this was a fake news conspiracy theory, and it was meant to take out the president? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, they did take out a president before. I mean, it's funny because Eisenhower warned us way back right when he was leaving office, about the dangers of the military-industrial complex. And his successor, John F. Kennedy, was killed. And that's when the deep state basically said, we're in charge. And so it has kind of been that way. They've been doing these kinds of shenanigans for a long time. And with, Operation Mockingbird and infiltrating the media, they have been controlling our reality for quite a while. And they've got a lot of vested interest in this, money and power. And so, yeah, now it's time to turn the tables and start finding to basically save our country and save our future. We're going to have to find out who these people are, spreading misinformation, and they're benefiting while the rest of the public is in the dark, being fed a bunch of nonsense and having our lives stolen from us. Really, our reality is their reality, but that needs to change. And I'm looking forward to flipping this around and seeing what we can find on the other side.
I think heads need to roll. I think there needs to be. The one thing about Donald Trump, I've said probably the two best things about Donald Trump and his presidency. Number one, he has forced the fake news media to take off their Scooby-Doo mask. They're all out in the open socialist, open Marxist, open deep state, open coup attempts, open fake news, open conspiracy theories. The second thing is that Trump hits back. The second most important thing that Donald Trump, he hit back 10 times harder. That's something that, these milquetoast Mitt Romney, John McCain type Republicans of past used to really get intimidated, used to become silenced, intimidated into silence, threats and accusations and all sorts of disgusting stuff that could be said to smear a human being. And it used to work. It doesn't work anymore. So I guess what I'm wondering, if we're going to have the chance to see Trump hitting back 10 times harder, does he get a chance now to go ahead and investigate this situation? Now, you and I were talking yesterday, Blake, about we were talking about Trey Gowdy, right? So
Yeah,
what are some of the theories you're hearing about what could come next? Because I don't think we're done with this. I expect a 10 times stronger snapback reaction, and I sure hope there is.
Yeah, I think we were just discussing about how great it would be to see Trey Gowdy come back as a special prosecutor in this case. And yeah, he's really would be qualified and know a lot of this information. So I think that would be my choice. I'm sure there's some other really good people out there, but yeah, I think it's his turn. I'd like to see him get his vindication.
Do you expect to see Donald Trump pardon General Flynn? If not Manafort, I don't know.
Manafort's a different case. He probably did do some bad things. It didn't deserve to go down like that. He just got caught up in that whole, the Donald Trump election part. So, but I mean, that's not to say that he's a good guy or that he deserves, pardoning. But maybe they'll take some time off of that. I don't know the full extent of all of that, but yeah, you could see a part. I think General Flynn, right? I still haven't seen anything that he did that was that serious, but yeah, it was quite it was quite scary at first. It was a witch hunt, as they say, exactly. And I mean, back when they actually did have witch hunts back in the day, it was pretty terrifying. And people died back then, but now they just kill you politically, throw you in jail. And but yeah, this deserves to another full investigation on the other side and to get the truth. That's what we deserve after going through this 2-year debacle.
This over here from MSN.com, it says Representative Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, argued that all documents from and related to Robert Mueller's investigation should be released if the special counsel's full report is made public. If they do release everything, then by golly, release it all, he said on This Week Today on ABC. Jordan demanded the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act application on Carter Page, 302 summaries from the FBI, which detail the Bureau's interviews with witnesses, and any briefings lawmakers have received on the counterintelligence investigation into President Trump also be released. Quote, we have asked for that information to be made public a long time ago, he said, noting that he has previously asked Trump to release those documents. Jordan would not say whether he would ask the president to also release the Mueller report on Russian interference in the 2016 election, possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. I want it. Bring it. And let's discuss how we deal with coming to terms with what Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton did to try to overthrow our government. Yeah, so I'm all in on that. Blake, as far as the channels like the MSNBCs, like the CNNs, that were pushing this fake news conspiracy theory for over 2 years now, is it time that they get the Alex Jones treatment? And do you see big tech all through Silicon Valley deplatforming NBC, MSNBC, CBS News, ABC News, CNN for pushing deliberate misinformation and fake news? Alex Jones, they said that conspiracy theorists are going to be deplatformed, and they took him out. Isn't this a vindication and proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that those news organizations need to be shut down completely?
Well, I don't know if we'll see them shut down completely, but I think they've taken some catastrophic damage to their credibility, and I don't think they'll ever get that back. It'll never be the same now. You just basically played your whole base for fools, getting them to believe in you, putting all that, getting their emotions all worked up into this, and you made them all look bad. I mean, not to mention themselves. But that was the risk that they took to so that this establishment could, I guess, to protect themselves. And so they threw all those people under the bus and got them pushing out their phony narratives. It's pretty sad, and they deserve to be punished for that. Whether, I don't know if they're getting all this big money in the Silicon Valley. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but I don't think it's going to just be forgotten. So I don't know how long this is all going to take to unfold, and maybe once the counter investigation goes on, and as we learn more information, and as some of this other report comes out, and there's no there, I think there's I don't know how it's going to say, and I don't even know how Facebook and Twitter, because they're going to have to answer these questions at some point. They're probably going to be dragged into this because they were censoring the people that were telling the truth, and pushing and allowing the other people to push out their lies. So yeah, it's time for the day of reckoning, as they say. But it's going to be weeks. It's going to be a year. I don't know how long it's all going to take, but certainly all going to be very different someday.
Rand Paul said regarding when he was asked specifically if former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice should be called to testify about their role in the matter and be subpoenaed to force their testimony if they refuse to voluntarily reply, Ron Paul said, absolutely. We have John Brennan, who lied to us, who spied on the Senate and tapped into Senate computers, Paul said. We have James Clapper, who came before the Intelligence Committee and said they weren't collecting all of our phone data. So both Brennan and Clapper have been known to lie in official testimony. They should be brought forward and asked what was their part, what was their role in ginning up this dossier. Amazingly, most media outlets wouldn't even print the dossier because they thought it was so unsubstantiated. And then, all of a sudden, the FBI gives it credence. There's one interesting story out today that says still no one would print it. So then Comey gives it to President Trump, and that's when it's been leaked. And then we have this news story saying that this dossier had been given to the president, and that became the hook of the story. So this is just, I mean, Rand Paul says he calls it a terrible tragedy. It cost us $30 million, 2 years to go through all this, and the media has been so consumed by all of this that they have barely had time to report on any of the real news of the day. I think we shouldn't allow this to happen again to a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah, this is going to be a story I think they're going to talk about for generations, if not for hundreds of years. They're going to be looking at these crazy times and going, oh my God, I can't believe that's how things were and how blatantly corrupt it was. So pretty epic and amazing time to be alive, I guess.
All right. Moving on, we have other news. By the way, Cult Priestess is saying hello. Said, asking, did he say ginning up this dossier, as in the genie, as the gin?
Oh.
Yeah, DJIN. Or it could be DJ Samhouse, DJN. Anyway, I digress. Other comments. Hi to everybody. I'm getting all these comments over here, and I'm not seeing the comments. Tap the likes if you're watching on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook. Tap the hearts and likes if you are watching on Facebook. And please leave your comments over here. I will try to get to some of these while we're going. I want to move to a second story. This is something that was breaking today, and it's very confusing, Blake, if you can pull up and kind of update us on Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett, as you know, he he went to the authorities and said that, what was it, Blake, at 3 a.m. in a, was it 30 degrees below zero, that two white Trump supporters wearing MAGA hats came up to him and said, you're in MAGA country now in the middle of Chicago, because that's MAGA country, and then put a noose made of the little thin rope that he walked around with for multiple hours, and then he had Subway and was home with his Subway bag, and he left the thing around his neck, and then they found the surveillance footage of his two co-actors, his two friends from the Empire series, purchasing the rope and the red hats in the same neighborhood right before the attack, and they were on surveillance footage. So what's the latest here? Because there's been a development today, and I'm trying to unravel what exactly happened. He was charged with, what, 17 counts of...
16? Yeah, when he was... Exactly, at that point, with the difference to make 15, 16, 17.
Filing false police reports. It was a hate crime against white people, against Republicans. And you know what? If there are protected classes of people, then every class gets protection. So you can play that game everywhere. There's not certain groups that have certain privileges. any sort of targeted hate crime, whether it's political, whether it's the color of your skin. He was charged with all that stuff. And I'm wondering if Jussie Smollett's going to have some federal charges now, because that's a separate issue, because he was also allegedly responsible for mailing himself a false death threat to the studio where he was working to gin up attention for his own story that he concocted with his friends for attention. All right, so Blake, if I left anything out, that was the quickest way I could describe what we knew up until today. What happened today? Because a whole bunch just happened.
Well, it was an interesting story because at first when it broke, it was some of the people. It was divided. We tend to be a divided country on these things, seeing through one of two perspectives. And one thought it was just like giant hate crime, and the other side was saying, no, this looks like a hoax. And then the investigation took place, and then it became obvious to everyone, and then people started to walk it back and go, yeah, this guy clearly did something really stupid, and nobody could defend him. So, but shocking developments today. The criminal case was dropped, and it was extremely corrupt. This is Chicago, but won't get ahead of ourselves because there's a lot to break into. That's good. I'll start here. So this is out of TMZ. Mayor calls it a whitewash of justice, which is one of those things I need to mention.
That's the Chicago way, man.
It is the Chicago the way, and
is he pretending?
Rahm Emanuel is a part of that awful, corrupt system, but even he cannot believe that this happened. Even David Axelrod, Chicago guy, Obama guy, thought it can't believe this. The police, chief of police, can't believe this.
Do you believe that Rahm Emanuel is not acting right now? Remember, he's the one that famously said when he was in the Obama White House to never miss an opportunity to take advantage of a crisis.
Right.
Don't you think he's acting? Do you think he's really surprised and angry by this? He's saying it because he thinks. I don't believe
that's
it.
Where I'm confused. Yeah, because I
think he's faking it. I think he's.
But him and Axelrod, these are both people that were part of the Obama administration. But now Rahm Emanuel, he's the godfather of Chicago now, and he does have all of these. He's obviously wants to be on the side of the police, and they're outraged. The union can't believe this is happening. So I do think I don't think he was a part of this. I think some people thought they were above the law and could do things, but they just don't seem to realize that this is a national story, and you can't get away with this. And there's just massive outrage right now all over social media and beyond. So where to begin here? So first assistant to the Cook County State Attorney, Joseph Maggots, who replaced Kim Fox because she recused herself, and apparently there's she's received like $400,000 from George Soros back in the day. Like there is this sort of circle with the connections that tie to Obama and these heavy left-wing financiers who orchestrated this. So there could be Michelle Obama as well as one of their friends. I'll get to her name soon. So they dropped the charges because Smollett doesn't have a violent criminal history, and lying about the alleged attack was not a violent crime. Okay, so he's a non-violent. I get that.
To try to spark a race war in a major city?
Basically,
that's non-violent?
He was trying
I think that's kind of violent. What do you think's going to happen when you try to...
If he had gotten away with this, the consequences were awful. To basically say, he made this fake letter to make it sound like he was victimized because he's black and he's gay, even though he's a star on this great TV show. And if he would just kept his mouth shut, he could live happily ever after. But for reasons that are not quite clear, some say they did it as a publicity stunt for him to make more money. I'm not really sure. I'm convinced the guy is just a total sociopath.
Yeah.
There's no remorse on his end at all. And I mean, the thing that because you're causing this rift by saying that, these white people are attacking you. You're bringing us back in the race relations. and manufacturing a story to use against the whites as well as Trump supporters. And yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing that he would do that and keeps insisting that he's innocent when everyone knows, and even the people that he paid to do the attack, these two brothers, are like, no, they cleaned up. The police all knew he was full of it. Everybody eventually figured out, and even like the Sharpton and even some of the people that were apologizing for him at first are all walked back and went, no, hey, sorry, buddy, we can't protect you on this. You did this to yourself. Sorry. And now all of this, and the grand jury, they convicted him in like a sec. Yeah, it was easy to see that there was a problem. Led to a lot of money, $100,000, six figure. I forget exactly how much money this whole investigation cost. Yeah, well, he was caught, and his whole story just totally imploded. And now he's basically gonna walk away without any charges and still maintaining his innocence, that he was still attacked. Like, we're supposed to believe this. It's really pathetic. And I don't think they can get away with this because, one, you mentioned the federal case is that when you're mailing stuff to yourself, you're using, the federal postal service to, is it like a terrorism thing or something? When you're sending yourself white powder and hate crime stuff. And and there's a couple other developments. I have to get to the connection, of course, with this with the prosecutors. So he also squarely believes Jussie did concoct a hoax. This is basically the investigator. But then, let's see. And even though Chicago Police Department Mayor Emanuel ripped the state's attorney's office, this guy Magatz made it clear that he stands by the findings of the cops and believes they had the evidence to get a conviction. So the obvious question is asked, why take the case to a grand jury only to drop the charges? So, because nobody's buying this. But so Magatz says the discussions have been going on for weeks with Jussie's camp about dropping the charges and his community service, but nobody's found any community service.
Actually, I saw something that said it was a Rainbow Push Coalition. I think I tweeted this out. Go ahead, keep going. I'm gonna see if I can find this.
Sure. Okay, so they dropped the community service, and that. So we had bail set at $100,000. So we came up with $10,000, but now he's saying, don't worry about the $10,000. And but I mean, when the cost of the investigation was at least 10 times that and beyond.
So I have this this tweet from Andy NGO. I don't know how you pronounce that, at Mr. Andy NGO. I replied, "Is all of this verified?" He said Jussie Smollett did 2 days of community service at Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push organization on Saturday and Monday. He forfeited his bond and all of the charges were dropped. FYI, Smollett has a criminal history. He was previously convicted of DUI and impersonating his brother during a police stop. Man, this is a really bad actor. He's a bad actor committing bad acts, and he's not a good actor. I'm going to pretend I'm my brother. I'm going to pretend I got attacked by some white guys in a MAGA hat. With my Subway bag at 3 a.m. in MAGA country.
Yeah.
In an ice age, it was like 30 degrees below or whatever the temperature was.
He is a calculated sociopath who is only cared about his own selfish interests and trying to get the entire country to feel sorry for him. And I don't know. And to blame Trump supporters and blame white people. I mean, it's sick what he was trying to get away with. I mean, you could imagine. And he's going to get a raise and get all the attention. Oh, and he couldn't wait to get on the Today Show to tell his BS story. I mean, you really have to be demented to knowingly you just created this entire hoax, and you can't wait to go on TV and to lie in front of millions of people about your BS story to drum up sympathy. I mean, that is just sick. He really is a bad guy. And he's maintaining his innocence, but he's friends with Obama. He's been at the White House. He's got pictures with the Obamas. He's also got there's a video of him dancing with Michelle Obama on stage. So he's got the Smollett. They've got a family friend named Tina Chen, who also happened to be, I think, the chief of staff for Michelle Obama, or she was affiliated with that. So a Smollett family friend named Tina Chen sent this to Kim Fox, the original prosecutor who recused herself, saying hi, who also took $400,000 from George Soros for her campaign. She says, hi, Kim, I sent an email to your work address, and they've been busting out with the texts to get Smollett out. She says, I want you to give it a call on the behalf of Jussie Smollett and family who I know they have concerns about the investigation. She says she's on an 8 a.m. flight to New York City, but please call me before then. Many thanks. So, she's Michelle Obama's former aide, not chief of staff. But so in one text exchange with a Smollett relative, Kim Fox, is reassuring them that she spoke to the superintendent in Chicago and asked for a favor. Okay, stuff like that does happen. But the problem is, I think they're not calculating this right. This is a national story. You'd have one thing in your own little bubble in Chicago and get away with it. These kind of things happen with the rich and powerful. But when there was national outrage and there's national attention, I don't know how they thought that this would just, okay, we'll just release him and no big deal. I mean, maybe if he was apologetic, maybe if he agreed to do an enormous amount of, like I said, the community service, paid out the entire investigation, apologized, spent a long time trying to redeem himself. I mean, there's things that he could do, but he's actually just trying to walk out like nothing ever happened. And it was all, he's still sticking to his original story. I mean, it's just outrageous, and it's right in our face. It's really bold, and they need to have consequences for this major. And even the mayor of Chicago, of course, the chief of police, this is not gonna are not liking this. So this is not going to be good. So anyway, she said, so this the original DA, the Rona recused herself, said, oh my God, this would be a huge victory that's according to the Smollett relative. Fox says she made no guarantees, but she's trying. That's when she's trying to get to the superintendent. So then they were able to drop all 16 charges. He left the court and lied, and telling reporters that racist, homophobic Trump supporters beat him in a cold Chicago street. It's pretty disgusting stuff. But no, with all the backlash and outrage, there will be consequences, and he cannot get away with what he has done.
I don't know. Will Rachel Maddow keep her job? Will MSNBC be deplatformed? Is there going to be any repercussions from all these people?
Deplatformed? I don't know, but I think their credibility is going to be.
Why ban Alex Jones if you're not going to ban people pushing a 2-year plus conspiracy theory?
Well, that'd be if
known
fair.
fake news.
If they were nonpartisan and they weren't taking money from these campaigns, if they weren't publicly traded or whatever, if they were there to, maintain freedom of speech and civil discourse and wanted a free range of opinions, then they should knock them down in the algorithms. But the point, they're going to follow the money, unfortunately. But I think enough people will become disenchanted with them that it will have serious consequences. People could say what they want now, but they were basically got a death blow, should have been. But once the counter investigation starts taking place, and once these other characters start getting subpoenaed, and we start getting the other side of the story, I think people are going to fall away more and more there as well. So, and then the Democrats in disarray are going to have to reinvent themselves somehow. And they don't really know where to go. And get old socialists, you got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the other side, the new the young ones, and the Beto O'Rourke's. They're in a crisis. I don't know how this is all going to shake out.
You know how you say Jack's name here on Twitter? Posobiec. Jack Posobiec tweeted out, he said, General Flynn is facing a $5 million legal fee for defending himself against a hoax. Jussie Smollett just got all of his charges dropped after committing a hoax. Our system is a joke.
In a way, yeah, that's a fine point when you put it that way. That's true. They put people in jail. hurt a lot of innocent people in this investigation. Roger
Yes.
Stone got pulled into that too. And then Jussie Smollett just gets to walk away.
Let's see if I can play this loud enough to hear. Hang on. Let's see if I can get the volume. This is Maggots.
Yep.
First Assistant Cook County State's Attorney Joseph Maggots in Chicago about dropping charges against Jussie Smollett. Let's see if we can hear this.
Charges vindicate him?
No.
Does it exonerate him?
No.
Do you believe that he is innocent?
I do not believe he's innocent.
So you believe he's guilty?
Yes.
So why drop the charges?
Based on all the facts and circumstances, based on his lack of criminal background. I mean,
Dude, do you hear his voice shaking?
Yeah. He knows because he's an attorney.
Man,
What
did
he's
he
saying.
did he get a knock on the door from Hillary Clinton herself?
That could be.
The Grim Reaper herself.
They wouldn't let
Clintonized?
Miss Fox take fall on the sword, so they gave it to this poor guy.
I mean, I'm sorry,
At
I
least
got to
he's
rewind it because his
being
voice is
relatively honest.
shaking.
based on his lack of criminal background. I mean, we defer or do alternative prosecutions. In the last 2 years, we've done it on 5,700 other felony cases.
Yeah, he was very confident at first. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. And then,
And in a reply to this, 5,700 other felony cases. People get away with felonies. No wonder Chicago has a crime problem. And then another tweet. Yep, that's why the Fraternal Order of Police is furious. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is a regular occurrence. Anyone who thinks political corruption has not infiltrated our justice system should consider themselves officially woke. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. The question here, then why drop charges and seal the records? It's a bad message for any future hate crimes. You know, like it's open season on hate crimes now, as long as you have connections. You're telling me this isn't going to be completely weaponized? You saw it with Kavanaugh. They came after Kavanaugh with ridiculous accusations, as ridiculous as this Jussie Smollett story, as ridiculous as the Russian collusion. They peed on a bed, so now Putin rigged the votes. Like, it makes no damn sense. They did it with the Covington kids. The liberal media and the Democratic establishment pushes known lies, known liars pushing known lies, known conspiracy theories, and then they just walk. I can't understand. I woke up and I heard the story. I went, okay. There must have been new information. So before I shoot off my mouth, let's see what happened? Did somebody else confess? Did there's another caught on video camera? Did something really happen? Nope. In fact, the lawyers are saying, yeah, we're confident. He was guilty. And like 57,000 other people, just let him go because it was nonviolent. 5,700, sorry.
this dude was honest about that. I mean, yeah, no, he's totally guilty, but I would let him go because that's just the way we do things.
Unfreaking believable. 16 felony charges just disappeared. I don't know.
But he's still got the federal one hanging over him, and there's going to be a backlash to this, and maybe even Rahm Emanuel and the police. And if the chief of police are working together on this, I mean, this could be a major turning point, and justice will have to hit Jussie. Justice for Jussie, because this is disgusting. This is a travesty of justice right here.
All right, well, let's talk about another dirtball. How about Michael Avenatti, Blake? Let's shift gears a little bit because this is interesting. These phony stories to gin up racial hatred, animosity, trying to shake down people and get money. This is Michael Avenatti, who, would you say, Blake, he rose to fame by representing a porn star who received a payment from President Trump to say, yeah, let's do a non-disclosure here. I'm gonna pay you some money, and we don't need to get into the details of when we hooked up that one time about the thing. Okay, and so that was a private interaction between two people. She took the money. You know, libertarians are supposed to be totally cool with sex work. So yeah, he took the money, stopped the story, and then Avenatti came out and tried to weaponize it to bring down Donald Trump and his administration. Is that mainly where Avenatti got his break? Was he doing stuff?
I never heard of him.
I didn't know about him either.
Just kind of want to be, yeah.
But he was put out there,
lawyer.
The celebrity porn star lawyer, the creepy celebrity porn star lawyer. We actually saw him at Politicon.
We did.
Him and Kathy Griffin. Oh man, that was just An hour of just such utter nonsense. I don't know why I sat through it, but I did.
Avenatti wanted to run for president.
Yeah. Avenatti was going to be riding in on a silver horse to save the day. But what's going on with Michael Avenatti, Blake? More big news.
Yeah, he was arrested in alleged Nike extortion scheme. So Newport Beach attorney Michael Avenatti was arrested Monday on charges of bank fraud, embezzling a client's money, and attempting to extort more than $20 million from athletic equipment giant Nike in cases filed in both California and New York. So Avenatti he was arrested in New York on a 2-count felony complaint, alleged wire fraud and bank fraud.
Wow.
He was also arrested in a separate federal case in New York in which he was accused of threatening to use his ability to get publicity to harm Nike. Prosecutors say he demanded that the apparel company give him $10 million. So if convicted on both charges, Avenatti would face up to 50 years in federal prison. And it was funny, less than an hour before he was arrested, Avenatti tweeted that he was holding a news conference Tuesday to announce that he uncovered a college basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike, which probably is absolutely some truth to that.
Okay, so if there is some truth to that,
yeah,
let's play the what if.
It's
game,
like a National Enquirer story that hasn't leaked, or a big bombshell story that's ugly for the company. Yeah, the company's probably involved in trying to get these high-profile basketball players to endorse their shoes, and there is money, and they probably did some shady stuff. I have no idea, but this is the kind of stuff that goes on. So
Stormy Daniels was trying to take down the president, and there was money paid to, just to, what's the technical term? What did they reached an agreement? What not a non-disclosure. What am I searching for?
I'm not sure. I'm just kind of thinking like, wow. I mean, it's like a dream. You're getting paid like $160,000 or something. What does this spend a night with a wealthy billionaire reality star, one of the most famous people on the planet? I mean,
and so what I'm saying is, Michael Avenatti had been working with the porn star Stormy Daniels to see how you could take money to keep a story quiet. So let's say he did find a story with Nike. He just saw with Colin Kaepernick. It's funny, $10 million is the amount, because isn't that
that was a co-conspirator?
A co-conspirator, right? So these stories, if left unchecked, if you give a mouse a cookie, they'll ask you for some milk. If you pay Colin Kaepernick, who claimed that he was discriminated against, he had diminishing skills. His offensive coordinator had left the 49ers. He opted out of his own contract, and there was no market for a 30-year-old washed-up running quarterback. So he claimed that this was discrimination, and there was this massive cabal at the NFL to keep him out. Nike backed Colin Kaepernick and made him the face of a campaign. Colin's wearing, Castro t-shirt? Was it Castro t-shirts? Yes. And pig socks because he was bashing the police, and I believe in Oakland. So anyway, the co-conspirator. Who is the co-conspirator with the connection to Kaepernick?
Celebrity lawyer Mark Garagos.
Mark Garagos, thank you.
CNN contributor also.
CNN contributor. Wow, it's almost as if it's all connected and it's all one infinity loop back into itself of BS. So they saw how Kaepernick. At first, it came out that maybe Colin had a shakedown of $60 million. And then a week or two ago, it came out that, well, it's probably closer to $10 million. Well, he was a quarterback that should have made a $75 million contract. Well, people want to win. Kareem Hunt was signed. You hire people with super talent. Colin didn't have a ton of talent, and he saw the writing on the wall, and he came up with a fake racial BS story, and it was rewarded handsomely. And Nike even gave him the front campaign for a chance to kind of be this social justice warrior hero. I never saw him that way. I saw him stoking disgusting racial tension, anti-cop hatred, just all based on nonsense. I never liked the Colin Kaepernick story from day one. So it's so interesting to see this story go on the backside now, where you have it with the attorney for Stormy Daniels. All these stories are like they all just loop back and forth with CNN to porn stars to Nike to shakedowns to dirty lawyers. and fake news conspiracy theories. So let's just play the game. Let's say that he did actually discover that athletes were being paid or programs are being paid. That just took out, who is that, Coach Pitino over in Louisville? I mean, with Adidas,
yeah.
Come on, man. You think that every big program isn't doing the shell game and pushing it around?
Big money.
It's big money, and the NCAA is forcing these kids who are 18 years old and adults, and they should have the ability to go out and earn an income for themselves, forcing them into the NCAA where they're not paid, so that all of these billions of dollars with the B are made off of them before they're allowed to enter the pros. And you want to talk about collusion? That's collusion with the NFL, with Major League Baseball, they all have their systems, they all have their slight differences in their rules. With the NBA, the one and done rule. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to jump right from high school to the pros if you're good enough. LeBron did it, Kobe did it, Kevin Garnett did it. Yeah, your Minnesota boy. So what do you think? If you had to guess, do you think he did actually have a story about colleges getting paid? And he was trying to set up a hush money deal, like, hey, I did it with Stormy. The president paid, and she said, like, I'll make sure. That's not a good example, since she was singing like a canary and totally violating the terms of the non-disclosure agreement that she signed. But I mean, it's possible that he actually did have a story, right?
Absolutely. I believe he did. That's why they would have paid that settlement. They would have wanted to see proof.
So what makes it illegal then? It just happened.
Extortion, because you're basically threatening to, you're going to put the story on ice and get rid of it, or if they pay you, otherwise you're going to release it and damage them, and it's going to cost the stockholders, $1 billion or whatever. Yeah, it's bad publicity for the company. Of course, they wouldn't want to do that, but they don't want to be extorted by this creepy celebrity porn lawyer. Yeah.
Okay, so look, this just dropped. I'm really curious to see where this goes. I do a sports show called The Unhappy Hour. It's a private group on Facebook. Search for The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. And we put the shows on youtube.com/The New American Media as well. So yeah, I'll be following this from the sports angle, from the Nike angle, from the co-conspirator Garagos to Colin Kaepernick angle. Man, I hope so many of these things are connected and the dominoes start clickety-clacking. Because if you allow this type of stuff to happen, you get more of it. All of this, these Al Sharpton style racial hatred shakedowns that are going on.
He backtracked on Jussie. He was
who said what?
Side, I believe
Avenatti?
Al Sharpton. No, I believe Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton
went away from. He pulled away from it because he knew that he was full of it. Everybody knew. Everybody know, and the guy that dropped the charges knows. Everybody knows, except Jussie wants to. He's still pushing out his BS, and I guess his family doesn't want to see him get thrown away. I mean, yeah, it's too bad, but he did it to himself. He is obviously a calculated sociopath, as I've said. There's no remorse, and he went on TV. I mean, it's just outrageous.
Let me see if I can play some of this. This is from Vice News. This is Chicago officials seethe over Jussie Smollett's dropped charges.
And at the end of the day, it's Mr. Smollett who committed this hoax, period. If he wanted to clear his name, the way to do that was in a court of law so that everyone could see the evidence. You all know what the bond prophet said. We all know what it said. So, I stand by the facts of what we produce. If they want to dispute those facts, then the place to do that is in court, not
I want to. This goes on for 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Where they don't just, we'll just drop all the charges, even though everyone knows he's guilty, and then seal it up. Like, no, you can't do that.
Apparently, you can. All right, so we're going to follow this story. We're going to try to find some more information about it. We know what we know right now. We'll follow this, and there's going to be lots of reaction. I think the whiplash effect on this story, this is not going to go away. People are seething, and I think rightfully so. If you're trying to foment a phony race war in this country, I have select words for how disgusting you are. There are real bad things that actually happen from time to time. And when you make up fake stories, conspiracy theories, fake news about them, all it does is it lessens the likelihood that future crimes will be believed. And that's why I think anytime that someone makes bogus police reports, wrongfully accuses, I think the penalty for wrongfully accusing somebody should equal the crime and the charges that you just accused them for. So if you accuse somebody of murder and the maximum sentence is life in jail, you should face life in jail for wrongfully accusing somebody of that, especially if it's proven. This was completely proven. The 16 charges, you didn't accident. Well, I don't know. I kind of, maybe threw a dart. It was kind of close. It was borderline, coin flip. Maybe he was guilty, maybe he wasn't. This was obvious, and they just let him go. And it's going to encourage more of the same. And I'm so tired of MSNBC and CNN pushing racial division every chance they get. There's so few people in this country that care about that stuff at all. Most of the people in this country, and I firmly believe this, care about the content of your character. That's it. There's idiots on every side of every color. But I think the majority of Americans are good people who don't care about any of the stuff that CNN constantly pushes, that liberal Democratic politicians constantly keep pushing to just keep creating this version of a boogeyman that literally doesn't exist.
Well, Jussie was obviously very offended by that and wanted to bring that back up again. Stick that knife in again.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Agitate yeah. See, Brian, where's your outrage when that letter came, that racist letter?
Bro, no justice, no peace, right? Like this is trying to start a race war. Why else would you gin it up to Trump supporters and white people and MAGA hats?
Obamas in Chicago.
Complete
the whole
political
thing
nonsense.
Is so bad.
A bad actor with a bad script with bad execution, bad directing. It's a perfect Hollywood story set in Chicago, modern day. Interior, dark room. Jussie leans over the table.
But if you can't get the police and the mayor and even David Axelrod, you're in trouble. And everyone's outraged. So this is not going to work well. I mean, I don't know what they thought. They didn't really think of the consequences. Want to get their kid out, but not good. This is not going to be good.
All right, final story. This one is regarding the border wall. You have one pulled up, or am I reading this one?
You are. It's all you, bro.
This is out of Politico. I'll cut to the chase here. On Monday evening, Acting Defense Secretary Pat Shanahan approved $1 billion in anti-drug trafficking funding be diverted to build 57 miles of border fencing, as well as roads and lighting aimed at blocking 11 drug smuggling corridors. Top lawmakers of both parties have warned that they may cut off the Pentagon's ability to move money within its budget if defense leaders violate longstanding custom by shifting funding without asking Congress's permission. So this is something that the president has, he's pretty happy with, because he's been pushing for this for a long time. What does this say? I know he tweeted it. What are your thoughts on this? I'm going to try to pull up a tweet.
Yeah, it's about time to get something rolling, because there's been a lot of controversy, and I talked about that on the last show, and there was a big battle going on between Trump and Ann Coulter. She was calling him out and saying, can you show me the latitude and the longitude of where this wall is being built so we can see it, because he's been saying that this wall is being built, something's happening, and we're going, well, where? And then it's come out that no, there's nothing, actually no new wall has gone up at all. They've reinforced some of the old stuff. So we're waiting to see that, I guess.
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. is retweeting Ryan Saavedra saying, breaking, the Pentagon has notified Congress that it has authorized the transfer of $1 billion to begin new wall construction along the U.S.-Mexico border.
Not that I'm a huge fan of the wall idea, but there's is a crisis going on, and it's another one of the things that the Democrats have been busted lying about for a long time, saying there's nothing going on there, everything's fine, but clearly it's not, and there's record numbers of people coming in. But then it was confusing, because it was Donald Trump was saying, yeah, we're building it, but then nothing is. So it's time. Just give the Border Patrol, let them put some walls in strategic places, and it'll be easier to enforce, and we'll see if it makes a difference. It's well worth a few $1 billion out of the budget to test that. And since they don't seem to have any other solutions, that seems to be the best we can do for now. So I say do it, and let's get it done and see what happens. Because I mean, there's proof of they talk about like El Paso, and right on the border of what's that, Juarez, and when they built the wall, the crime has gone down dramatically. Or even over in San Diego, where they've had a lot of border crossings, they've put walls up in strategic places. It does work. Not saying that's the best solution, but it's effective, and it's time to just let them do it. That's his campaign promise. It's really not that much. At least just put it down, test it out, see what happens, and we'll know from there.
Yeah, President Trump tweeted out today, "Thank you to the House Republicans for sticking together in the big win today on the border. Today's vote simply reaffirms congressional Democrats are the party of open borders, drugs, and crime."
Yeah. A lot of crime, human trafficking, drugs. There's all kinds of problems that are caused when they have an open border like that.
So, yeah, I've never understood why this border hasn't been a thing for a long time. Just, I've had to hire security firms for special events, whether it's big concerts or to patrol communities, and just number one, you got to have some sort of control over who's allowed to just be wandering through your property. That's it. Whether that's at the perimeter of a sports arena, you have certain gates and they're locked and you can't sneak in the back door, or whether it's just going through a property, whether it's fenced in or not. The point is, we're a country, and if you're going to be here and participate, we need to know that it's vetted people that have gone through the process.
Yeah, go through Ellis Island, make sure you don't have any diseases. If you do, you get quarantined, and find out who you are, where you're going. It's basic.
It's basic. It's not complicated to me at all.
This is normal. Just open border, we don't care, and we'll find them, and then they'll just have to come to court in a few years. But it's process is so backed up, they don't show up. Brian, I don't know if you want to get to some of these. We have a lot of comments coming in. I don't know if you want to. I can't read them from here, unfortunately.
Oh, man, I don't know. Anytime Jussie appears, Tiger Cup saying, anytime Jussie appears anywhere, we must wear our MAGA country. Wear the rope under our shirts as he sings.
There you go.
Well, yeah, that's pretty mocking, I would say. Seen many crime scenes, and none disturb me like Kathy Griffin holding that bloody head of POTUS. Yeah, it was pretty disgusting, especially in the age of all that Obama McCain-backed rise of ISIS and all that disgusting stuff that was happening throughout the Middle East, and to be standing there like an executioner holding the head of the president. That if that's not, yeah, that's pretty vile. That's pretty.
Yeah, she went over the line, but she ended up having her career was. That's some consequences.
Did she ever have a career, though? Let's see. A slat fence is what they call the wall. Ugh, border betrayal. We need a 30-foot concrete wall with concertina embedded on top. Saying the fake asylums, scumbags will still get in. Well, once again, if it's shown that you can claim asylum, the blueprint gets out. Here's how you do it. Here's how you shake down a company. Here's how you shake down a president. Here's how you gain political power. If you let it keep happening, you'll get more of it. So, yeah, something has to be done. Let's see. Businesses in Calexico don't press charges against the thieves. I hear the calls all day long. It's, yeah. I don't know. So they put $1 billion over there. Let's see if they're going to try to undo that. But it's a start. I have to put in for my driver's license. I have to get my own passport. I've been to different countries, and you abide by the terms of going to that country, and you try to respect them while you're there. And they want to screen out the dirtbags. If you got a known disgusting criminal history, they have every right to say you're not welcome. There's nothing that says we have to welcome everybody here at all. Oh, give us you're tired, you're sick, you're weak. Okay. That was a gift from France. What do I care what France said about us? That's a thing. It's a kind of concept. And yes, I think most good people want to do charity work and help people around them, but that's a voluntary thing that should never be forced upon people.
Hey,
So
they're great people. I'm happy to have an immigration system and bring in some good, hardworking people. I'm totally in favor of that, but not just an open wall or open border where they just come on in and nobody cares. That doesn't make any sense in any level. And anywhere else in the world, they would not do that. But somehow, I mean, that's the Democratic plan, is to just have immigration, illegal immigration. They give them driver's licenses. They make 16-year-olds, give them the right to vote. I mean, they're trying to overthrow the country with that kind of stuff. I think somebody made a point. Might have been Mark Levin, who said that if we had an open border and it was all people that wanted to vote for Republicans, the Democrats would be helping to build a wall. This wouldn't be happening. So they have their own agenda, and they lost. And they were such sore losers. They put us through a 2-year investigation that thought was never going to end. Now we have open borders, and it's normal. And then Pelosi and them are talking about, they've already had driver's licenses for illegal. That's just like a normal thing. We have so many of them, and it's screwing up the insurance. So we can't have uninsured motorists running around, even if they are illegals. Sanctuary states. No, it's been completely nonsensical.
Okay, so I have one bonus story. I'll read this Ben Shapiro tweet. I was reliably informed that the Green New Deal was both incredibly popular and deeply necessary to save the planet, yet not a single Democrat voted for it. Clearly, they do not care about the children. We're all dead in 12 years, guys.
What was the vote? Like 51 to 0, 57 to 0.
57 to 0. Senate Democrats voted present in a planned boycott. Ted Cruz says that means the Green New Deal would have cost each American family roughly $65,000 each year. The overall cost would have been crushing to Texas families. I'm proud to have voted against it. Dan Bongino says, Dear AOC, your staff does a great job at snark while managing your Twitter, but how about you show us all your intellectual prowess and agree to debate Senator Lee regarding the economics of your Green New Deal? Step up. I'm sure you can handle such a challenge, because they're out there saying, with the Green New Deal, legislators, experts, and advocates have spent countless hours poring over details of industrial policy plus impact of global temperature sea level projections. Charlie Kirk points out, hey, AOC, your Green New Deal just got 0 votes in the Senate. Looks like socialism isn't as popular as you make it seem. It just goes on and on and on here. I'm really happy they called this to a vote. I think it's great.
Yeah, that was very embarrassing for her.
As it should be. Well, you were telling us about a story, too. I guess our second bonus story, and we'll wrap this up. What was the one you said that the big guns were called in to discuss how these new congressional faces are causing problems to the party? You said this earlier? They called in a Chicago guy?
I don't know.
A former POTUS?
Oh, it's Obama? What? Oh, no, I don't know if I missed it. Was you sure it was me?
Yeah. No, you were saying that they brought them in. They brought in President Obama to speak with. Okay, I thought we talked about this. Never mind. I'll back out of that bonus story.
Okay.
That's why we script our show. Clearly, we don't. Okay, so that's basically what we have. The Trump Mueller report.
It's off the cuff.
Trump Mueller report is a big nothing burger. Jussie Smollett. Everybody knows he's guilty, and they let him walk anyway, just like 5,700 other felony people. We'll wait to see if the mailing fake anthrax to himself through the federal mail, if those get charges, or if they're, you hear sometimes about local hate crimes being wiped away, and then the feds have to come in and pursue hate charges. I think the same thing happened with Trayvon, or with in that case. There have been a few of them where the feds come in. We'll see if that happens. Some of the border wall is now going to be built after rediverting about $1 billion of funds. And then we're going to have to follow this story with Michael Avenatti trying to extort money from Nike, a la Colin Kaepernick. What a busy couple of days. We got to do this more often.
Right. Kaepernick, yeah, he must have been tied. I mean, the Garagos, so it connects somewhere in there. We'll have to find out.
You get a good blueprint, and you double down on anything that's working. If something is working, you do 6 times more of it. Well, if the shakedowns are working, do more of them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But luckily, this Mueller report, this big nothing burger, has proven that the leftist media is, like we said, they are nothing but fake news perpetrators. They have been pushing a Russian collusion hoax And that's why you shouldn't listen to them. You need to listen to the new American media, people who do their own research, and don't listen to the Michael Avenattis and the Mark Garagoses of the world. I think we got to do our own research. And anybody that was surprised by Mueller's findings, you got to get out of your echo chamber. You've got to get out and listen to other people. You don't have to believe them, but you should listen and sharpen your argument. Nothing about the Jussie Smollett case points to him being innocent of this. It points to some favors were pulled behind the screens to make it go away. Nobody believed this Russian collusion story. Even from Van Jones on down, they knowingly purported fake news, pushed it on the American people. It takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and it takes only an instant to destroy it. Don't give them any more of your dollars, your clicks, your attention. Let them go by the wayside. That's my advice. Blake, final thoughts?
Yeah, no, they get paid millions of dollars to do what they're told. I mean, yeah, they're not going to be real investigative, think for themselves. No, they all have to be, on the same page as everybody in the liberal media. Yeah, you're talking about CNN or MSNBC, WAPO, and New York Times. You can't get too far off of that script, off their talking points, or they really come after you. But now they're all forced to, they're all going to go down together, I guess.
All right. Well, that's our show for today, March 26th, 2019. So long this Tuesday. Follow Blake on Twitter. He's at eccentric99. We're at American_media_subscribe. YouTube.com/the New American Media. All the other stuff. Instagram.com/the New American Media as well. All right. Signing out. To be continued. Talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace. Finish. End stream. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all of you. To be continued. We'll be back.
Give it one more.